became terribly interested in the molecular structure of water and what affects it. Now, water is the most receptive of the four elements. Mr. Emoto thought perhaps it would respond to non-physical events. So he set up a series of studies, applied mental stimuli, and photographed it with a microscope. This first picture is a picture of water from the Fujiwara Dam. And this picture is the same water after receiving a blessing from a Zen Buddhist monk. Now, in this next series of pictures, Mr. Emoto printed out words, taped them to bottles of distilled water, and left them out overnight. This first photograph is a picture of the pure distilled water, just the essence of itself. These subsequent photographs, as you can see, are each different. This is the chi of love. And we move along here to thank you. And you can see where he taped that to this bottle here. But if you read Japanese, you already knew that. Now, Mr. Emoto speaks of the thought or intent being the driving force in all of this. The science of how that actually affects the molecules is unknown, except to the water molecules, of course. And it's really fascinating when you keep in mind that 90% of our bodies are water.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? If thoughts can do that to water, imagine what our thoughts can do to us.
This next series of photographs are the work of Japanese researcher Mr. Masaru Emoto from his book, The Message from Water. Mr. Emoto's work provides factual evidence that human vibrational energy, thoughts, words, ideas, and music affect the molecular structure of water. Please remember that water comprises over 70% of a mature human body and covers the same amount on our planet. Water is the very source of all life. This photo shows the beautifully formed geometric design of the Yushi Spring water. This next photo is from the Shimanto River, the last clean spring in Japan. Notice the extraordinary geometric forms. The fact that the molecular structure of water can be affected by our consciousness, our intent, and our sounds is extremely important. This photo is from the Mount Cook Glacier in New Zealand. Mr. Emoto has been visually documenting these molecular changes in water by means of his photographic techniques. He freezes droplets of water, then examines them under a dark field microscope that has photographic capabilities. His work clearly demonstrates the diversity of the molecular structure of water and the effects of the environment upon the structure of the water. This photo is from the fountain in Lourdes, France. This photo is from contaminated water from the Yodo River in Japan. In this photo, we can compare the contaminated water with clean stream water. Look at the difference. Mr. Emoto decided to see what effects music would have upon the structure of water. He placed distilled water between two speakers for several hours while playing different music and then photographing the crystals that formed after the water was frozen. This photo is of water being exposed to Beethoven's Pastorale. This photo is the effect of Bach's air for the G string on the water. This photo is water exposed to Chopin's Farewell Song. This next photo is water being exposed and affected to music that was designed for healing. This photo is of water being exposed to the Kawachi folk dance. This photo shows the effect of heavy metal music upon the water. Here now we can compare the effects of healing versus heavy metal music and what happens to the water molecules.
自分たちの体の中の振動を本来あるべき振動に戻すためにこの音楽というものは作られてきたと思うんですね。我々日本でも戦後ですね、とても苦しくて辛くて、日本人ではなければ味わえないような辛い思いがありましたよね。ですからああいう時に起きた歌というのはとっても明るい歌が多いんですね。やっぱりそれぞれの時代のあるいは地域の歴史が持つ、そしてそれによってももたらされた振動の乱れを私たち人類は本能的にですね、それを対応する音楽を作り出しているわけですね。ですから音楽は芸術である以前に癒しそのものであるというふうにはっきりということができます。
Through our website, we rounded up a group of volunteers to help us with this experiment. 4 groups of parents and their children participated. In this experiment, we used 2 glasses of tap water taken from Tokyo. We should note here that crystal formation has always eluded the waters of Tokyo. To 1 glass, all of the participants expressed gratitude, first out loud, then with their eyes closed. Next, they observed the water for any changes.
お水さんを大切にします。お水さんを大切にします。はい。それじゃあ今言った言葉、お水に対する思い、これをみんなで目をつぶって祈ってください。はい、じゃあ目をつぶってください。1分間です。
The researcher is now transferring this water onto petri dishes. The children look on curiously. Three hours later, the frozen water is ready for observation. We will start with the water that was left alone. Like so many times before, once again we observed a total lack of beautiful crystal formation in the tap water from Tokyo.
ちゃんと形になれなくて、なんか気持ち悪いようなそんな感じのもあった。
どういうこと？
ちゃんとなんかちゃんとした結晶になってるやつが一つもなかった。
Next, we will observe the water that was exposed to good thoughts. The children gaze into the monitor. What will happen to the tap water when their thoughts become one? Then, from within the darkness of the microscope, a small crystal appeared and slowly started to grow. A magnification increase revealed the sudden emergence of a single crystal, clear and simple, as if to epitomize the thoughts of the people who had gathered. And then, in response to the words and thoughts of the participants, the tap water from Tokyo produced a beautifully balanced crystal.
こういう風に出ると思った結晶が
ちょっと思わなかったよ。
結晶を見てみてどうなんだろう。
すごかった。
自分たちがこう送ったものが本当にそういう風になるのかっていうのはちょっと半信半疑なところもあったんですけど、実際にそれを見て本当にそうだったんだということで、
あとみんなでね、なんか一心同体っていうかな、そんな感じになれて、なんか念じられた。だからよかった。
Through crystallization, water is telling us that it can act as our mirror, that it can reflect human thought. Water has the ability to show us what we cannot see. The same water also flows through our bodies and nurtures all life on earth.